So I did a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Blaze Black and it took me 70 attempts. Now I've done a lot of Nuzlockes before, but no amount of playing vanilla Pokemon while spamming potions could prepare me for the absolute horse shit that this game had in store for me. I'm playing a custom hack of Pokemon Black made by our god, lord, and savior Drayano. Basically, it takes Pokemon Black but makes it significantly harder by raising Pokemon levels, adding more double, triple, and rotation battles, and while this next point doesn't necessarily make the game harder, it does up the encounter variety, which makes for a significantly more enjoyable gameplay experience. First off, I should mention my rule set. It's relatively standard with a few personalizations. Obviously, this is a Nuzlocke, so standard Nuzlocke rules apply. When a Pokemon faints in battle, it's dead for good and nothing brings them back. And I can only catch one Pokemon per area, being the first one that I find. The only exception to this is gift Pokemon, which I allow myself to take since there are not that many in this game. Additionally, to make it harder, I'm playing without items in battle. This means no potions, X items, or anything in the bag menu besides Pokeballs when I'm catching an encounter. Also, I'm playing on set mode, which means I don't get free switches during battle. Also, I'm playing with level limits, meaning my Pokemon can at no point exceed the level of the next gym leader's highest Pokemon. Because of this, I hacked in rare candies because grinding is awful and makes me want to tear off my skin. But before I start, I should mention something. I'm probably going to be calling this game a lot of distasteful things, but I really enjoyed this game. Despite being one of Drayano's really early hacks, it's still brimming with quality and was super fucking fun. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, and before I begin, I feel the need to mention that only negative 73 undecillion% of my viewers are subscribed to my channel, so if you like Nuzlockes, and general game challenges too, I have a lot of non-Pokemon related challenge content in the works.
Hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell to be notified when I upload awesome challenges like this.
I love Gen 5 to death, but Pokemon Black's early game starts off really boring and slow. The only relatively interesting thing here is picking a starter, and that's because of their new abilities. Snivy gets the ability Contrary, which reverses the stat changes applied to it. Tepig gets Adaptability, which changes its stab moves, or same type attack bonus, to be 2 times damage rather than being 1.5 times the damage. Last, but honestly, absolutely least, is the lame-ass ability that Oshawott gets, which is Vital Spirit, which makes it impossible to be put to sleep. That might sound great, but with how few and far between sleep moves are, it's really boring in comparison to the other 2 abilities. The starters also have changed stats and types, giving Serperior the Grass Dragon type, Emboar the Fire Ground type, and Samurott the Water Fighting type. If it hasn't been obvious by this point, Oshawott isn't really the greatest pick, so it's really just a matter of choosing between Snivy and Tepig. I choose Snivy pretty much every time for a reason that I'll explain a little later, but Tepig is still a very viable pick. So, all that's left for us to do is pick the starter, fight the rivals, talk to your mom, find the rival being the victim of domestic abuse.
Are you okay?
After calling Child Protective Services, we talk to the professor and name our first team member, which would be a good time to talk about my naming theme for this run, which I do stray from every now and then, but is usually consistent. I'm naming my Pokemon after mythological figures and gods. This Snivy shall be named Naga. We move past Route 1, skipping this encounter, which in my opinion is really good since we can come back after Gym 1 with the Fishing Rod for some really good potential Pokemon. This route has a lot of possible Pokemon to get, but out of all of them, 3 stand out: Purloin, Meowth, and Caterpie. Caterpie evolves into Butterfree, which can have Compound Eyes, a really wonderful ability that has great synergy with Sleep Powder, a move that it gets really early on. Meowth gets Technician and Fake Out, which just makes it a monster early on, and Purloin, the best one in my opinion for late game, also has Fake Out, but is a little better long term because it has the ability Prankster and gets a lot of really good status moves like Thunder Wave, Charm, and Taunt to make use of that ability. Luckily for me, I end up getting a Prankster Purloin here, which is a great encounter. Once we're in Striaton, we can head east to the Dream Yard and get a really good Pokemon, but before I talk about it, I feel the need to mention that youngster Joey is blocking the path and is really menacing. He and his top percentage Rattata, no really, he isn't kidding, are a force to be reckoned with. Not only does he have a pretty decent leveled Rattata here, but has Focus Energy to boost its crit chance, Quick Attack for priority stab, Bite for type coverage and flinches, Flame Wheel for more coverage and burn chance, and presumably from some tests that I've done, Perfect perfect IVs and EVs. After that, you can get arguably one of the best Pokemon in this run. The gift changes depending on what starter you picked, but I got Panpour, which is genuinely such a good Pokemon for this game. Drayano buffed the ever-loving shit out of these monkeys, and it gets, at a really early level, Acrobatics, Scald, Hone Claws, Lick, and later on in the run, Water Spout. Even more than that, when it turns into Simipour, it gets Unburden as one of its abilities, which doubles its speed when it uses a held item, and you'll see very soon that this is a wonderful asset to the team. Now that we've gotten all of our potential encounters, we sweep through the gym. The theme for this gym is the Water, Grass, and Fire type trio. Each of the trainers has one Pokemon of each type, and like in the original game, you face a leader of the type that is strong against your starter. Each of them has a team of 6, including 5 starters from Gens 1 through 5 and the elemental monkey of their type. While that might sound really hard, I honestly think it's easier than the vanilla black gym fight. Because of how fast the monkeys are, and the fact that you get a monkey that has a type advantage against the gym, you can sweep through it without even looking. I'm not even joking, I've done this fight a multitude of times without looking at the screen. I mean, in this attempt, I was literally scrolling through Twitter while I did it. It's so easy, I don't even think it's worth it to show my original commentary for this fight. This gym is a joke. Moving on. After the easiest gym fight in Pokemon history, we make our way to... The fuck you want? After the easiest rival fight in Pokemon history, we make our way to Wellspring Cave and cross our fingers for a good encounter, because this cave has some potentially really bad ones. But thankfully, we end up with the best case scenario here, Zubat, with a really good nature and ability too. Now all we gotta do is fight these fodder plasma grunts. Honestly, the run is going really well so far, and at this point I was over the moon. I'd gotten every encounter I wanted, and no one's died. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. I couldn't possibly have a flawless run. It just could not be allowed, could it, Blaze Black? Sulking, I make my way to Nacrene City, rip an Autono out of the grass, and fight our first legitimate run killer. I don't know who pissed in Drayano's cereal the day he worked on this fight, but my god, this can be brutal. Now, I know not everyone does Nuzlocks, but it seems like Drayano's challenges are usually made with Nuzlocks in mind, and all of N's Pokemon are one level away from the level cap. So, sometimes you have to fight him under-leveled so that you don't over-level in the gym. He has a bulky Bronzor with lots of hacks to mess you up, and a ton of really hard hitters, including a Drought Vulpix for some fucking reason. Anyway, once you get past him, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with her gym trainers, except maybe one of them who has a moody Smeargle with Aeroblast and Sacred Fire. But that's about the only big threat there. The last roadblock is Lenora herself, and honestly, she's one of the hardest gym leaders I've ever faced. Ordinarily, she wouldn't be that bad since she's a normal type gym leader, but she leads with 2 Intimidate Pokemon, one of which has Helping Hand, and all of her Pokemon have Stab Retaliate, which they use once you kill one of their Pokemon and get double damage on it. And at this point in the game, you can have like a maximum of 8 encounters, so the variety of strategies you can use is really small. But, like I talked about earlier, Snivy has play here. If you lead Servine and Simipour, you can sweep her gym pretty consistently. Servine's contrary ability, instead of lowering its attack, gives it 2 stages of attack boost from Intimidate, and has Leech Seed for really good healing. Simipour gets Scald by this point, so you don't really need to care about your physical attack dropping since you can just use that throughout the fight. And Simipour has this funny little move called Tickle, which drops the opponent's attack and defense by 1 stage. Funnily enough, you can use this on your partner slump for some fucking reason, so you can use this to just buff the shit out of Servine. My Lenora fight this run didn't go too smoothly, but I still managed to no-death it. Courtier, double Intimidate, that's gonna raise my attack twice. So I'm gonna start off by Leech Seeding the Stantler, and then Tickling Naga. It's good that it's coming into that slot. Herdier. Good, that kills. That's not good. Wow, that did nothing. The Prera is really good. Oh, I was hoping you'd charm Servine here. Yeah. I can't cut it because it has Sap Sipper. Oh, the berry sucks. Getting Parrot here would be really good. Oh, that's a huge crit. Oh, that's really good. Oh, recover? Oh, it's over. I forgot you got recover. Charm. That sucks, but that's fine. I'll probably switch it out here. Uh-huh. Yeah. Ooh, that's really good confusion. Hit yourself, that's really good. It's dead. No, you're fine. Tally does air, charm brings you down even more. So crits will still do a lot, but they're crits. Hardier getting healed is fine. We just want that Watchog gone. Oh, that was close. And this is dead here. Yes. Okay. I am faster. Okay, that's a lot of damage, but we're fine. Oh, that's bad. Oh, it's defense fell. Okay, alright, that's good. So, I'm gonna Twister again. And I'm gonna go into Durantia, who should be faster. Good. Alright, now this Moody could make or break this. Accuracy rose, evasiveness fell. Oh, that's actually really good. I was worried about missing Bullet Seed, but I think we just won. Yep. And then if I just hit this Bullet Seed, I win. Let's go! Easiest fight of my life. Alright. Lenora's done. We crawl our way out of Lenora's basement to find who else but Team Plasma. But hey, instead of annoying everyone and preaching some random bullshit, this time they're actually committing a crime. They pull a fucking Houdini and vanish out of that bitch with a Dragonite skull. I would ask how they got in there, but I can imagine the museum employees don't get paid enough to deal with a presumably armed terrorist organization. And I'll let you take a guess on what we do next. I think we know which one is the correct answer. Look, I'll save you the long explanation. Blah blah blah, Team Plasma, something something, trainers, forest, yada yada, ooh, a Bulbasaur. Long story short, our Crobat sweeps through the entire forest with little to no difficulty. We get Lenora her little trinket back and make our way to Castelia City where... Team Plasma's causing more trouble. I like literally don't even have a sarcastic remark here, this is just genuinely annoying. I would ignore this, but poor little Bianca got her mana stolen, and considering the kinds of family problems she's been having lately, I feel bad. Anyway, we take care of Team Plasma as usual, and we grab some more encounters. In the desert route above Castilia, we get a Darumaka, which is a really good encounter here, but unfortunately, it'll be Iron Fist instead of Sheer Force when it turns into a Darmanitan. Now, one would think that's not super bad. I mean, it's still a Darmanitan, it hits like a truck, but this will have relevance later. We grab the Plume Fossil and revive it into an Arcan and finally get to challenge the gym. To be honest, the gym trainers aren't really anything special. One of them just has only middle stage Cocoon Pokemon, and the other one is just generally underwhelming, but whatever you do, do not step on this panel. Take it from me, you don't want to do that. I've lost at least 2 runs to either over-leveling to this trainer since I accidentally stepped on it, or to getting swept by their Tail Glow Volbeat. I managed to dodge all the optional trainers though, and went on to challenge Berg. And this is pretty hard. Mostly because it's a mix of us having so few encounters, Berg having 6 fully evolved Pokemon, and the fact that it's a double battle, which is generally hard to sweep even if you have a Pokemon that can 1v1 all of them, since, you know, it's a double battle and you don't really get any 1v1 scenarios. Some specific threats in this fight are the Vespiquen, which is actually really bulky and has Toxic for chip damage and Heal Order for healing, a Heracross which holds a Flame Orb, burning it during the fight so that its ability Guts will boost its attack, and a Speed Boost Yanmega, which will just stall turns with Protect while its ability raises its speed each turn, and after a few turns, it will basically outspeed anything you can get at this point in the game. Although this fight is hard, I managed to get some really good Pokemon for it, namely Crobat and Simipour. Simipour's Unburden ability really carries this fight since it can one-shot the Masquerain with Flying Gem Acrobatics and get the Unburden boost, which lets it outspeed anyone on Berg's team barring maybe the Yanmega after a couple turns of speed boost. And Crobat is just a speed demon with one of the most optimal type matchups for a bug-type gym. Anyway, the fight speaks for itself, so here's my fight with live commentary. I gotta do, it's not a frag. The Intimidate sucks because we're both using physical attacks in this fight, but it is what it is. And this should do a pretty good amount of Vespiquen. That's good. And then this kills. Good. And now I'm Unburdened. U-turn comes in, that does a lot, but that's fine. I think, can a nerfed Air Cutter kill the Leavanny? Because I want to double target this Scolipede. Come on, work out in my favor. That gets its berry. It's not gonna kill, but I need to live the... What? That did half of its HP. Half. Is that really how bad my special attack is? Plan. I wing attack the Scolipede, and then I fake out the Leavanny here. Hopefully this kills. It does. I don't think the crit mattered, but it could have. Yep. And then... I have to get this Yanmega just gone. Bug, if anything is coming into this slot, it's probably bug moves. So I think I go Phanes. Yep. Heracross comes in. Good. Okay. So now I wing attack the Heracross, and I try attack the Leavanny. It protects, that's fine. This thing is just dead. Good. Yon Mega comes in again. I wing attack it, and then I try attack the Leavanny. That's really annoying. Don't I have Infiltrator? I could have sworn I have Infiltrator. Unless PK Hex changed it. No, it doesn't look like it did. Oh, I got another Intimidate. That's weird. Huh. I don't think the second attack drop is the end of the world. I think a wing attack will kill the Vespiquen here, and then I can try attack the Yon Mega. Yes. Don't kill. Okay, that's game. Oh, losing Simipour is so bad. This isn't the end of the world. I'm not gonna reset this. Run's still going strong. I can get an alternative for Skyla. So it's not the end of the world. It sucks, but whatever. So far, the run is going pretty well. Minimal deaths, and we finally made it past early game, something that doesn't happen too often in my runs. We press on and have to fight Cheren in a rotation battle. Rival fights aren't typically that difficult, but rotation battles can be dicey since they have a lot of randomness that can screw you over. Regardless, my Pokemon are a higher level, and his Pokemon kinda suck, so we win relatively easily. How did you beat Berg again? At this point, all that separates us from the next major battle are a bunch of skippable trainers and our encounters. Some in the desert, and some past Nimbasa City. We grab a Trapinch in the Desert Resort, an LGM in Relic Castle, an Ekans in Route 16, we skip our Lost Lorn encounter and save it for later, and move on to Route 5 for our— oh, for fuck's sake. Hi, Bianca! How are things? Oh, musical? Oh, yeah, sure, I'd love to go. Segment of the game aside, we can— what are you doing here? I thought you got locked up after I called CPS. You know damn well after the court ruling that you're not allowed within 50 feet of any children. I will call the police. No, you're shitting me. You didn't just make up after— no, come on. Don't go. Come on. After all I've done. And they just make amends? We move on to Route 5 and grab a Nidorina. Then we can circle back to Nimbasa and find N in front of the windmill. We agree to ride it with him and—
who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down!
Out of nowhere, he just spills all this info on us and then wants to battle us, which honestly isn't too bad. This fight has some annoying parts like the Maractus spamming acupressure on their allies, the sand that gets set up at the start, but he also has some really shitty AI, to be honest. His Sigilyph seems to spam Synchronoise, which does nothing as long as your Pokemon aren't Psychic or Flying type. Overall, not too bad of a fight. Then, we get to challenge Elisa, whose team is full of fast, hard-hitting sweepers with a shit ton of coverage, and even a couple decently bulky Pokemon, so you can expect a really fast and aggressive fight where each of her Pokemon are capable of doing heavy amounts of damage. One word of warning, her Zebstrika is really fast, hits surprisingly hard, and on top of that has Sap Sipper, which makes it immune to grass-type moves and boosts its attack by one stage when it gets hit by one. Now, Electric isn't weak to grass, but since you have the opportunity to get a lot of bulky grass types by this point, like Venusaur, Meganium, and Serperior, which all resist Electric, it's easy to think that you're safe with them out against the Zebstrika and accidentally hit it with Grass Stab, forgetting about its ability. If I had to recommend any Pokemon for this fight, Archeops and Serperior are both really good, and are both guaranteed encounters depending on your rule set. Serperior just kind of walls everyone if you can get rid of her Emolga and Galvantula with its access to Leech Seed for healing and Protect Stalled turns. And nearly every time I've done this gym, I was able to sweep at least 5 of her Pokemon with Archeops since it's fast, hits like a truck,
and gets Dig for super effective damage, which in this game was buffed to 100 power, making it essentially a 2-turn Earthquake. On top of that, the Dig TM just gets given to you by some random NPC. But this time went a lot different than my other attempts. Check this out. After we embarrassed Elisa, we move on to Route 5 and meet the champion, who's just out and about for some reason. You know, Charon poses a pretty thought-provoking question. What is the champion doing goofing off around Nimbasa? Don't they have challengers? Or like, a job? What does the champion do outside of battling challengers? I doubt they come very often. Does he just like walk around Unova waiting for people to challenge him? Does he get paid a wage? All that aside, we beat up some kids, take their money, and Elisa lowers the drawbridge for us, where we actually get a really good encounter. Ducklet. This thing gets so many good moves, and in this game got a pretty sizable buff. It's a mixed attacker which gets access to Acrobatics, Air Slash, Roost, Scald, Feather Dance, and Rain Dance. The latter few are especially helpful for the next gym, and honestly, every time I use this Pokemon, which is pretty frequently since it's a high chance to encounter on the Driftfield Drawbridge, I have a really hard time coming up with what moveset I want because it just has so many good moves. Moving up a bit north in Shaking Grass, there's a really high chance to get a Chansey, and I do. This is also a really good Pokemon, and honestly, a lot of people ban these in runs because of how good it is, but I don't end up using it very often because I actually didn't see that many opportunities to use it, but it does have a pivotal role coming very, very soon. We can't challenge the gym yet because, you guessed it, Team Plasma is causing trouble. We follow them into the cold storage and along the way catch a Vanillix, which is really powerful in this game for some reason. This Pokemon got a small buff to its speed and a gargantuan buff to its special attack, making it as strong as Chandelure, which, if you weren't aware, is tied with Vikavolt for having the second highest special attacking stat of all non-mega and non-legendary Pokemon. This thing is strong. Inside the actual cold storage, we run into 2 of the 5 skippable trainers, which pose little to no threat, and we can get started on the best part of the game. Consecutively fighting 4 Team Plasma Grunts, which actually have no scary Pokemon and just serve to annoy the living shit out of you. The only saving grace of this area is the fact that we get the TM for Scald here, which is arguably one of the best moves in the game with its high base power and 30% chance to burn the opponent, halving their attack stat and doing little damage to it over time. Anyway, after we're done violating Team Plasma, we make our way to the Driftvale gym, which is honestly one of the coolest gym designs ever. It's so damn sick that as you beat trainers, you go deeper and deeper into the Earth's crust, and when you actually get to Clay, his room is full of shiny emeralds, which is honestly the perfect battlefield for the really hard battle that this usually ends up being. To start off, Clay leads with a Sandstream Hippowdon, which sets up Sandstorm before you can even do anything. The sand ends up being really annoying since it damages you a bit each turn, and doubles his Excadrill's speed by 2 because of its... wait. Doubles his speed by 2. Did I actually fucking write this? Doubles his speed by... yeah? Well, the sand doubles his speed by 2. That Excadrill with the boosted speed will outspeed pretty much anything you throw at him, and hits so unbelievably hard if you don't come prepared that you might get swept by his Excadrill alone. That's not the only threat though. He also has a water-absorbed Seismitoad, which will pretty much always switch into water-type moves, which are usually super effective against ground types, to absorb them and heal itself. He also has a Krookodile with Intimidate, which will drop your attack stat by 1 stage when it switches in. A Marowak with Perish Song, which, if you didn't know, forces you to switch your Pokemon out, because if a Pokemon hears Perish Song, it will, 100% of the time, die in 3 turns if it stays in. Overall, this is a pretty hard gym fight. It's usually hard to get through this with no deaths, this specific run being no different. It was at this point that I realized I missed an encounter in Driftvale City, and I'm praying big time for something good here. Fortunately, fishing in Driftvale has a 90% chance of yielding a really good encounter. I can get a Horsey, a Wailmer, or a Mantike. Horsey is great because it evolves into Kingdra, which is really good for Drayden and the final fights against En and Getsis. And it gives us dupes for a guaranteed Dragonite later on in Dragon Spiral Tower. Wailmer is also great if you get it before Clay, which I didn't, because I forgot. Because you can remove the sand he sets up, since Wailmer has a 50% chance to have Drizzle for its ability. And it's really good for Water Spout strats against Skyla, which in my opinion is one of the only actually consistent strategies for her. And Mantike Sunks, since it's near impossible to evolve, but we don't have to worry about that, because it's just a 10%. And statistically, would be ridiculous to encounter. Today's episode of Blaze Black Hardcore Nuzlocke was sponsored by HESPA, the Horrid Encounter Syndrome Prevention Agency.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with Horrid Encounter Syndrome, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Horrid Encounter Syndrome is a rare run-ender linked to awful luck, so don't wait. Call 1-800-THIS-GAME-SUCKS today for a free legal consultation and a financial information packet. Horrid Encounter Syndrome patients, call now. 1-800-THIS-GAME-SUCKS.
No, I'm not taking it. It was at this point that I realized I missed an encounter in Driftvale City, but it's not even worth it, honestly, because you'll probably just get something stupid like a Mantike. Don't bother. It's not worth it. Just don't. Hey, Chargestone Cave. Contrary to Driftvale City, Chargestone doesn't have a 10% chance to encounter an unevolvable dogshit Pokemon. And actually, this cave has a lot of potentially really good Pokemon. I choose to encounter one floor down since it has better Pokemon in it. I run around and find the end of the game. That's it. Runs over. I win. I hit the jackpot. Runs over. Nothing can stop me. I have a win button. GG easy. Go fuck yourself, Blaze Black. Who put Dino in my wild battle? If you weren't aware, Dino evolves into Hydreigon, which is one of the best Pokemon in the entire series. Why, you ask? Hydreigon is one of 8 pseudo-legendary Pokemon. A pseudo-legendary Pokemon bears that name because it has the stats to make it on par with legendaries, each of them boasting a base stat total of at least 600, but they are not actually legendary by definition. Hydreigon is really fast, has a super high special attack stat, and terrorizes nearly any Pokemon thrown at it because of its ridiculous firepower and type coverage. This thing, for some reason, gets access to Draco Meteor for nuking tanks, Dragon Pulse, Dark Pulse for reliable stab, Flamethrower and Fire Blast, Earth Power, Charge Beam, Focus Blast, Thunder Wave, Flash Cannon, Acrobatics, Rock Slide, and even U-Turn. That's 10 different types of attacks, each being either really powerful or really good support options. With all that coverage, there's not a single type of Pokemon that Hydreigon cannot hit super effectively if you prep well enough, barring a couple exceptions, like the dreaded Dark Ghost type, which has no weaknesses in Gen 5. At this point, I'm starting to believe in Run 70. With a Pokemon as good as Hydreigon, I can't possibly lose. And I would make my way out of Chargestone Cave if it weren't for the fact that one of the hardest boss fights in the game is ahead of me. Unfortunately, N guards the exit to Chargestone Cave with a team of 6 Pokemon. Rotom and its Wash, Freeze, Mow, Fan, and Oven forms. If you couldn't already tell, fighting 6 fast, hard-hitting Pokemon isn't exactly easy. This fight gets even harder when you consider that each of them eliminate their ground weakness with either their typing or levitate abilities, and the fact that they have a ridiculous amount of coverage. The most notable threats being the normal Rotom at the start with gimmicky moves like Will-O-Wisp, which can cripple your team, and a speed boost Rotom Fan, which has the moves Hurricane and Thunder to chunk most Pokemon you throw at it. However, if you prep well enough for it, this fight is manageable. Alright. Fuck you, N! Battle me! Yes, I do have a dream. It's fucking your mom! Yep, Frost comes out, and it's time to wall. Alright, let's see how pathetic this is gonna be.
That was so funny! Now I'm gonna light screen! Now I'm gonna sing.
Please hit. Ooh, good crit. Mo comes out. I want to preserve Superior if possible. Ooh, okay. No, we can deal, we can deal.
Belly drum trust.
Let's go. Let's wash. Just don't burn me. Holy shit!
What the hell?
I mean, that was Grass Gem, but like, uses. It's probably gonna be Hurricane. Okay. Just don't crit and don't confuse, please. I'm gonna assume this doesn't have any Thunders left. Might be a bad assumption, but like, I mean, oh.
That is a pretty bad assumption. There's no way it ran out of PP.
It could have though. If it was gonna use Shadow Ball on me, I think it's out of. It's used a lot of Thunders. Oh, I tank a Thunder. Or just miss. Cool. Okay. And then I'm in for heat, so that's fine. Yeah, I think I tank whatever it throws at me. Or I could just outspeed it. Cool. Wow. That was a little uneventful. Not gonna lie. I was expecting that fan to, like, murder me, but... Huh. And just like that, we beat N. With my head held up high after that no-death win and the Dino encounter, I leave Chargestone Cave and start prepping for Skyla. Here we get two encounters. A Shuppet, which honestly isn't that great, and an Emolga, both of which end up playing really important roles later on in this run. Then we make our way through the Mistralton gym. And honestly, this gym is a big change of pace, since we've never really had outright dangerous mandatory gym trainers before. The only gym trainers that have actually posed a threat were in Lenora's gym, I guess, and those were only slightly scary. But Skyla's gym is full of really powerful flying types. You'll see all sorts of demons there, so don't expect to be able to breeze through it. There aren't any particularly notable trainers since they're all pretty strong, but I'd like to give an honorable mention to whichever bastard designed this gym to bait you into taking the wrong path on one of the cannons, which fucked me up in one of the few runs I took as far as Gym 6. Fuck you. Luckily, the Emolga and the Vanillix we caught earlier put in work and carry us to Skyla with no deaths, and we make it to one of the hardest gyms in the game. Skyla is just an absolute terror to fight, and this is our first triple battle gym leader, which is an especially scary battle type, since these matches tend to be explosive and quick, with Pokemon fainting left and right. On top of that, the whole gimmick of triple battles is that a Pokemon can only hit the enemy in front of them and adjacent to them, meaning the Pokemon on your left can only target the left two Pokemon, and the Pokemon on the right can only target the right two Pokemon. However, one thing can circumvent this: Pokemon with flying type moves. So Skyla is at an inherent advantage here, being able to target whoever they want, wherever they want. Couple that with the fact that they lead with a sturdy Pokemon, a Tailwind Pokemon, and have some really hard-hitting sweepers in the back, this fight is a nightmare. However, there's one really useful strategy that I touched upon earlier, that I unfortunately didn't get to use this attempt, which utilizes the moves Water Spout and Helping Hand. Water Spout is a really interesting and gimmicky move that some Pokemon get, which deals damage based on how much health you have. If you're at max HP, your Water Spout will be a whopping 150 base power. With same type attack bonus, it turns to 225 base power. With a Water Gem, it turns to 337 base power. And with Helping Hand, it turns to almost 500 base power, which hits every slot in the triple battle if you position the Water Spout Pokemon in the middle slot, which is pretty powerful. The only Pokemon I know of by this point that get Water Spout are Wailord, which is a 60% encounter rate fishing in Driftvale City, and Simipour, which I've already established as a guaranteed gift Pokemon. Despite not being able to use this Water Spout strategy, I somehow managed to have a decently good Skyla fight this run. Okay.
Okay, good. Please work how I think it's gonna work. Good, you move first. I've calced this. You should murder this like 7 ways till Sunday. Good. Okay. Now, ideally, these both target the protecting Pokemon. No, fuck you. Spikes is A-okay. Spikes is just so fine. Okay, Swanna comes in. That's fine. Because Discharge is my move of choice, and having him on this slot is where I want them. Die. Good. Thunderbolt gets a level up. That's good. Foul play. Do a lot, please. That's not how I wanted you to Brave Bird, but that's fine. Kill, please. Defeatist, save me? Big? Big? Huge? Oh my god. Damn it. Man, that's fucking sucks. That just murders it. Okay, I guess not. But the charm should cripple it a lot. Oh yeah. Let's go! That was surprisingly clean.
Oh, and if you didn't already infer that water spout strats are broken by the explanation I gave earlier, here's a Skyla fight from an earlier run where I did use water spout strats, because it just felt like a crime to not include it.
Skyla is so white in her battle sprite.
Okay, I have to be so careful. I like how you can just shift and like skip your turn or something. I barely even know what shift.
It does like literally nothing.
Okay, so we're shadow sneaking the Skarmory. We're water spouting all 3 of them, and then we helping hand Gigantu. Shadow sneak breaks sturdy. Uses bulk up. Good, it doesn't attack. Torment. That's
Plus, it doesn't.
annoying. The Skarmory flinched!
Holy shit, like literally the perfect turn. The Torment is annoying, but
I can just single target Scald something. That's spread damage, so that shouldn't be too much. That probably kills, to be honest. Clutch! Double Earthquake. Ow. This should just kill. No shot this doesn't kill. Good.
wow, this is a smooth battle.
Power Gem. It's in Defeatist. Charge Beam. Really?
Crit, 4 times super effective, didn't kill.
I kind of want to no deaths this, I'm gonna be honest. EQ comes out, but that's spread damage and it's a Defeatist that does nothing. Hurricane comes out. Shouldn't kill you. Oh my goodness.
Jeez Louise. Actual 1 health.
I'm gonna check its HP after this. It's probably gonna EQ again. because it's super effective. So on your turn, I'll Night Slash, and then I'll switch to you. Wait, I could Heal Pulse you from across the stage?
That's tech I didn't know about Heal Pulse.
No deaths, Skyla.
Wow.
Yes.
This is your furthest run.
Hey, one quick thing. This video ended up being really long, so I split into 2 videos. The link to the second one is in the description. Please go watch that. Thanks.